Okay, I think I can be heard. Um, Trying to go live again. Um, so today I'm gonna. I know this is like last second, um, but um, so I'm gonna try and wait a minute, see if anyone comes in. I apologize. It is last second. I actually got a tip about a case, or it's a continuation. I did miss it yesterday, so I do want to go back. That is with Judge Simpson, and then I found the Detroit. I think it's just they just do bonds. So the Detroit bond court, it gets a little crazy. Like I don't know, it's weird. They have outrageous bonds, in my opinion. So and the other thing I wanted to talk about, um, is I am starting a new adventure. I am actually going to be filming a documentary. Um, I've talked about it briefly on here. The experience is about the dentist and how I had this horrific dentist as a kid, and I got comments that I do court videos or I do personal stuff. Can't do both of them at the same time. Except for me, this personal thing is very much so court. Um, Hi, Jessica. So I am filming a documentary about it. I've had former patients, as I call us, survivors of his, reach out to me from a single Facebook post. I have uh, the guy that so bravely came forward and got him convicted of not just child abuse, but he, I don't even know what term to use it. That's not, he diddled little boys. And this kid came forward and he was the one that got him convicted. And he lost his license. But there's a lot more to the story than that. But I do have to say, I'm right in the beginning phases of it. The boy that is the one that started it all as far as court goes, sorry, just found out he has brain cancer and it's moved to his lymph nodes. So I'm going to have to push up at least filming his portion. But he does also have two siblings. So right now I'm just doing initial interviews and doing the deep dives. I have to go to the courts, file the FOIA so I can get the records and everything. And I've reached out to the prosecuting attorney, hoping to hear back from her. She's now in private practice, but she still is doing child cases that are along that same line. So either way, she's going to be a great resource. But if you know anybody that was from the Lansing, Michigan area between the early 1970s until like 2010 that went to a pediatric dentist in Lansing, and his name is Wendell Allen Reset. Um, People may not remember him, um, but if you know anyone that went to a dentist that like literally tortured children, and there was definitely the CA, whether or not it was if you were male or female, it was really bad. I've talked to parents, I've talked to former employees of him, I've talked to fellow survivors, and I can tell you this much: literally every time I talk to someone, it's the exact same every time. Like all of us, he did the same thing to all of us. We can describe the office to a T as to how it was. So, I mean, we all have the same story. And when I talk to him, I don't say anything other than I'm a survivor. I don't, they let them talk and I ask them questions. And then I'm like, okay, so we asked this. And, um, part of it is I'm not trying to make money. It's a passion project for me because people need to know. First of all, this guy is no longer in prison. He appealed, won an appeal, then took a plea deal, and it was a plea deal. I believe it was for CA, so he's not on the offender registry anymore. And the state gave him back his dental license and allowed him to open a private practice again. He went to Mount Pleasant, a different city, but he did have it revoked again shortly thereafter. So I want answers. I want to, help others feel like they are not alone. Because that's like everything, every time everyone's like, I thought I was the only one. So that just makes it more important for me to do this, because there needs to be healing. We need to not know it. And I'm sure you all know, because I'm in the Lansing area, right? We also had Larry Nasser. And we all know what he did. Why is this happening? That's what I want to know. Oh, by the way, the lawyer that defended Reset is the same lawyer that defended Nasser. And is the same lawyer that is defending the Crumley parents. The kid, Ethan Crumley, that shot up his high school in Oxford, Michigan. Parents have the same attorney. I don't know how this woman can live with herself. Someone checked her website, and she says she's a feminist. Bitch, you ain't no feminist. That ain't like you. Yes, we're not. Yeah. So, anyways, I have actually had a couple of production companies reach out to me, and hey, let's see, I can't read. Oh, Sonic, Osanis, okay, something like that. I have had production companies reach out to me, and I'll be talking with them. But the biggest thing for me is I control all of it. The filming, the interview, like that's all me, because I've talked to these folks, and if they want to just tell me their story but don't want anything about them known, I can use them just to further proof as to like, hey, they had a similar story to and all that, and then I want it to be healing, which means the story needs to be told how we need it to be told, and also that everyone that wants to gets to watch it before. Like, I'm gonna probably just put it on this channel, but everyone's going to have a say as to whether or not, like, if there's something that needs to be changed, if they don't like, if there's something that's really bad, like it triggers them, whatever. And so all of them so far are kind of like, okay, that's fine. And I did actually start a private Facebook group, and it's just for us survivors. And then I did have to create a new email for it. It's Reset Survivors Documentary at gmail.com, and I didn't think to put it up. I literally had to create a new email, so I didn't get all these emails in my personal inbox. So, okay, with that being said, I actually just had someone tell me that there was a case that I've been covering on here. So lovely, he wants to be a soft sit. Anyways, he was on yesterday's stream, and I actually did not finish it, so I missed it. Oh, that was a big size. Sweet. Okay. Something. Yes. Okay, I got that how I want. Replay. Replay. I apologize because I know it says private. We're like right there. We go. Okay. Okie dokie. So now we're going to do this. Let's listen in.
Court does call the case. The People's State of Michigan versus Justin Phillips. Counsel, state your appearances.
Caitlin Kirby on behalf of the people.
I think we all remember this one.
Sorry, Your Honor. Stuart Collis on behalf of Mr. Phillips.
Mr. Phillips, please turn on your camera and state your name.
Justin Phillips, defendant.
Mr. Phillips, you're in court. Please take off your hat.
Oh, okay.
Told you we remember him.
All right, a couple of things. First of all, Mr. Phillips, once again, I have gotten right before your hearing, actually after the time that your hearing was set, I've received about 100 pages sent directly to my chambers. My chambers, Ms. Tang, has let you know that is not the way that you file pleadings in the court. And so I do not want it to happen again because I will reject it and I will not read it. I now come before the court, and I'll certainly let Mr. Cowles make his own argument, but I come before the court for you now asking for a fourth attorney. And the same, and when I read over the motion,
Okay. So I have not watched this. Like literally, I just saw the comment a minute ago, like as I was setting this up. So this is the dude that like his first attorney, or the first one that I had, his attorney, I was like, is that Alex Cabot from or Law and Order? So that's that's this guy. He's like a wannabe sob sit. Like this guy is weird, and he had been filing documents in like behind his attorney's back. So I don't know, ex parte, whatever. And Judge Simpson has already told him not to do that, and told him like when you have an attorney, you can't file motions without your attorney. It makes them what is kind of known as a fugitive document, I guess. Anyways, that's this guy, and he just filed for a fourth attorney. This guy is dragging it out. This is like kind of vexatious because he's dragging it out. Anyways, okay, let's get back to it.
and I'm not going to play the game. Mr. Collins, I'm not saying at this point I'm going to deny your motion or anything, but what I am going to do is I'm going to adjourn this over. And with this admonition to you, Mr. Phillips, you can't keep coming before this court deciding which attorney you wish to select. So what I'm going to suggest to you is that you find a way to reconcile whatever differences you have with Mr. Collins.
Okay,
no, he
so if I remember correctly, these are all PDs. They're all the public defenders. So he's wanting his fourth public defender now for whatever reason. This guy's a little weird.
And to deal with that, no, hold it. Do not ever interrupt.
Holy shit.
That what you will do is you will attempt to reconcile whatever differences there are. If you can't, then I will deal with Mr. Collins's motion. I am not dealing with your motion. You have counsel of record. It is not going to happen this way. Mm-hmm. You are not going to make some mockery of these court proceedings. And so I'm done with you in that regard. I will adjourn this matter out to February 2nd, 2022 at 9 a.m. or as a time set by the court. Mr. Collins, use your best efforts to try to resolve this with Mr. Phillips. If you guys don't, then that's fine. So to the extent you don't like Mr. Collins, didn't like Miss Julian, didn't like Mr. Brown before then, those are the devils you know. So you can take those, or you can take one you don't know. Because if I let Mr. Collins off the case and I appoint counsel, I'm not hearing another motion to withdraw. I'm done for today. We'll see you on the 2nd. Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Holy.
Yeah, he's assaultive. It's not good. So you can't behave like that.
Whoa!
Cut him off. Do not do that in my proceeding.
Your Honor, I want to say thank you, and I'm headed back to school now, so that'll be all for me.
Oh no, it's not.
Oh my God, that did not just happen. Holy shit! Yeah, I didn't get that one yesterday. Yesterday I was interviewing a bunch of survivors doing. Wait, what? The Michigan. Wait, what is this? Hold up. Oh, it's 3 months ago. Okay. I was like, Jesus Christ. Gotta get that I don't know where it's at. Oh, my videos. Jesus. You guys, I apologize. Okay. Bear with me while I get this straightened around. Figure this out here. Okay, I think I got the right one now. Sorry, guys. Oh, so, anyways, dude, that guy just said that Judge Simpson was assaultive? What? Like, seriously? What the hell? And I don't know if anyone watched yesterday. I actually did get some stuff recorded, like last night. I was up till like 5 a.m. working on this stuff, trying to get caught up. It means I need a bunch of I have to do a bunch of editing. I have a lot of videos now. Holy crap. Go to the next page. I've never done this actually from the straight website. So, anyways, Judge Simpson yesterday was like, he's having a bad day. Like, really, really, really bad day. So, I was like, there were multiple times yesterday. I was like, "Oh crap, dude, he was not happy." Let's see. I don't think that was him. Oh yeah, you guys now can see all of my videos that aren't even out. Here we go. Okay. Isn't that yarn pretty? That was the yarn that I dyed for my nephew. Why is it doing it that way? Oh wow.
The 14A District Court for County of Washtenaw, State of Michigan is now back in session. All those having business before the court draw near. The Honorable Judge J. Cedric Simpson presiding.
All right, court does call the case of the People State of Michigan versus Justin Phillips. Council, state your appearances, please.
Caitlin Kirby on behalf of the people.
Erica Julian appearing on behalf of Mr. Phillips.
All right. And what are we dealing with today?
Your Honor, today's the PCC as well as a special time for some motions regarding Mr. Phillips' motions that were previously filed. And I forwarded the response by Ms. Kirby to Mr. Phillips, and I believe those will be argued today. I additionally filed a motion regarding his bond conditions, as well as a motion regarding a production of a transcript. It's my understanding that the motion for the production of a transcript to indigent defendant is no longer necessary, that Mr. Phillips had already paid a check and covered those funds to receive a transcript. So it would just for me.
My understanding is that it's not been paid in full, however.
If it was a deposit or
There was a
$50.
deposit placed, but that there is a balance that is owed.
Yes, Your Honor, there's a balance of like $25 and some change. I did get the email yesterday from Mrs. Ann Wilding.
So I actually did. I have a business that's yarn dyeing. I actually use professional acid dyes. I just haven't really done much with it. I had like a bunch of leftover inventory that I actually I think it was the summer, had someone buy it outright. I had done a like consignment with a local yarn store, and it just wasn't really working out. So I was kind of sitting on it. Plus, my health hadn't been all that good. But yeah, that was the yarn I dyed for my nephew because he asked me to knit a sweater for him, and I do whatever color they want. And you know that little shit picked the one color that I don't have, so I had to buy dye just for it. It was like, of course. My younger nephew, he's 4. His favorite color is rainbow because he doesn't know it's not actually a color. So I had some rainbow yarn, see it very well, and I knit him a pair of socks and I gave them to him on Christmas, and like he was like, "Oh my gosh!" He was so excited. He's like, "It just sucks," and he put them on. My sister sent me a picture later, and then later she was like, she had to wait till he went to sleep to take them off because he knew why he would not let her take them off. So I have to dye or that's what this is. I'm working on another pair of socks. So, and it's weird because it's only been like 2 months, and I measured the length of the foot, and his foot was 7 inches long, and Christmas Day was 7.5 inches. So it's a little. He's growing too fast, but yeah, no, he will not take them off. So my sister's like, I'm gonna have to hand wash socks like every other day. So of course, knitting more socks. And now my older nephew wants socks as well in the color of his sweater. So I haven't done dyed that yet. Anyways. So okay, so you don't make anything fitted. Socks are not necessarily fitted. The only thing that's really fitted about them is like there's a lot of patterns that have different sizes. So you pass on a different number of stitches to make it bigger or smaller. The only real customized thing about socks is the foot length. So like you'd measure from if it's top down, normally heels to the balls of your feet, so where your toes start. So that, or like 1 or 2 inches before, or shorter than what the length of your foot is, and that's when you start the toe decreases. So yeah, that's the heel. The heel isn't fitted at all. It's standard, actually. Well, depending on the pattern, but yeah, no, it's pretty standard. But yeah, like I thought socks were really complicated. It's actually the reason why I learned to knit, because I wanted to make my husband socks. I crocheted some and they had no stretch, so I was like, hey, that's it, gotta learn how to knit. And took one class and look at me now. But yeah, no, so socks aren't actually all that complicated. But let's get back to the video because I know people are gonna comment, oh, stick to your court videos.
And she'll have her balance by tomorrow morning.
That would make that move in any event. All right, what's the next motion?
Your Honor, I would, if I can speak on the motion to modify bond conditions, otherwise I'm going to be requesting to adjourn the PCC outside of Mr. Phillips' motions. The bond conditions do involve Mr. Phillips' regular travel that he always had previously regarding his business.
Hey guys, sorry, I jacked up. I apologize. I was trying to type and I stopped sharing. Gotta use my phone to type comments, I guess. Ooh. So last night I ordered a book for my husband. He's been like really stressed out. So I ordered a book for him from Amazon, And it got delivered to the neighbors but it's the neighbors that I can't really interact with. Well, the boyfriend's not great. So it was on their porch because I finally got a picture, and I went over there this morning when I left, and it's not there. They took it, and I think she just pulled up. I mean, I hope she would just bring it here because I've gotten mail. We've gotten packages delivered and mail for them. We just take it over there, despite you don't get along. Anyways, I'll make my husband go over there when he gets home. I don't want to do it. Back this up.
In Texas regarding another consulting appointment. So I would ask to modify the condition for travel. If he would be permitted to have continental travel, it would help me to not have to request to take up the court's time requesting for each individual time every time. I don't believe that Mr. Phillips is a flight risk or a threat to the community. He's very invested in this case, as the court, I think, believes, or at least would be evident to the court through all of his communications. And so I would request to modify that to continental. Otherwise, he has stated previously that he's not an alcohol or drug user. He's never had a positive test, that is not an issue in the case, and he would ask to be released from that condition of his bond.
Response from the people.
Your Honor, I would leave that in the court's discretion. I believe the reason why Ms. Julian had filed that motion is because we, as the court stated last time, we have filed a lot of stipulation and orders for him to travel. And before I sign those, I need proof of the appointments. So when Ms. Julian asked me just for a blank all travel, I asked her to ask the court because I was not comfortable doing so, given the fact that some of the stipulations and orders that I've signed were out of country. So I don't know what the reasoning behind these appointments is. I don't need to know the reasoning behind these appointments, but I wanted to see proof of the actual appointments before I would be stipulating to them. So I would leave it in your discretion as to what you want to do.
Well, and the court feels the same way. While I don't like all of these motions coming forth, I'm going to deny the request to giving just continental travel within the United States. I mean, he has to have a purpose when he leaves the state of Michigan, and certainly with that purpose, the court will grant it. It also has to have specifications as to potentially what the defendant is doing, as well as time frame for the defendant's travel. So if we have to do it stipulation by stipulation, we'll have to do it stipulation by stipulation. But I'm going to deny that request. The second part of that request was regarding the drug testing. The court is, certainly I understand somewhat the nature of the case, or at least the court to the extent it does. I'm also going to deny that request. His bond conditions will remain as they are and will fluctuate. If he has travel, he has travel. And we'll deal with that. But in terms of the testing, that testing will continue.
Yes, Your Honor, I appreciate the court's ruling. As for one of these requests to travel, it is from September 2nd to September 7th, and tomorrow would be September 2nd. And Mr. Phillips, you indicated that was for consulting travel. Can you express to the judge exactly why you need to leave the state from the 2nd to the 7th so we can seek to get permission today?
Oh, well, that was for a family reunion, actually, Mrs. Julian. And additional to that, there will be other additional consulting business in that area, as well as appointments to interact with the Department of Justice, as well as the FBI, in regards to my civil rights violations that have been presented in this matter and surrounding this matter.
I guess what I'm concerned about is why that isn't being done by stipulation of the parties, much like before, where things are presented, and because that's a lot of things that the defendant just rattled off there. And I don't have any proof whatsoever of any of that. I mean, for example, do you have an appointment with the DOJ?
I do not, Your Honor.
Okay, so why would I
Yeah.
be permitting travel for an appointment that doesn't exist?
Oh, well, I was actually going, which was scheduled with my brothers. It's a family reunion. So while I was there, per the time of the ticket time, I was going to handle my other business in regards to this matter, as well as consulting with area friends that I have.
It doesn't work that way.
Here's how we're gonna do this, because that was a word salad, quite frankly. Um, If he's going for the purpose of the reunion, then show proof of that it's family reunion going on, and that seems to me to be stipulated to in terms of where he's going.
Okay, so you wouldn't necessarily have a civil rights attorney to talk to the FBI. You can actually somehow like file a report, whatever. I never had to talk to the FBI besides them doing my background check for when I worked at the Department of State. So, but yeah, I think you can like call. I know for sure. There's like 800 numbers to call the FBI, and you can talk to someone, and like you can try and get an appointment. How or if they would give you one, I don't know for sure. But I know that you can. Now, if he was trying to go to the CIA, he definitely wouldn't be able to get an appointment for that. And I'm assuming the DOJ would probably be very similar. Because, that's all alphabet soup. So alphabet soup and word salad go hand in hand. We're going to have a meal.
And the time frame of the travel. And certainly, as these orders have been stipulated to in the past, that can be done. So I'm not going to rule on that. I'm going to rule on what's before me right now, which is the motion to travel.
Okay, so, yeah, the FBI would not be the place to go. You would start locally. Then you would go to, you would file something in federal court. But I don't remember what his civil rights he said was being violated. I want to say it was an encounter with the police, if I remember correctly. But, yeah, going to the DOJ, like there's a process, and it's very similar to filing any other police complaint. You would think someone would have an attorney first, but obviously he sort of is under the impression that he is one or could be one, but he definitely thinks he knows better than every attorney that he keeps dismissing is. So, yeah, this guy's a piece of work.
Travel, the carte blanche motion to travel, which I'm denying, but that doesn't mean I'm denying individual trips where there's satisfactory proof of those.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will be in touch with Ms. Kirby about that by tomorrow morning. Thank you.
All right.
And Ms. Julian, just for the record, I am off for the next 5 days. So if you would like to email me before end of day, I will respond.
I will absolutely do that. Thank you.
The way he threw his head back like that was
So
disrespectful.
that takes care of what is the other motions that need to be, because I have motions that apparently that have been filed by counsel and motions that have been filed by the defendant himself.
Your Honor, when we were here previously, approximately, was it 4 weeks ago at this time? I believe it was August 4th. Mr. Phillips had filed a motion for change of venue, as well as, I believe, well, at least that's part of the title of it. And that may be a two-part motion, that he had done that on his own. At that time, I had indicated to the court that I had not filed that, and I do not argue motions that I do not file. And obviously it would be in the court's discretion whether or not to hear Mr. Phillips' motions as he had filed them on his own, and that gave Ms. Kirby a deadline as of last Thursday to submit a response. She submitted that well in advance of that deadline. I forwarded it to Mr. Phillips, and it's my understanding that that motion remains pending before the court today. And
The motion for the change of venue?
that was my understanding of what Your Honor had stated last time.
Right. I've reviewed the motion for change of venue response to that. I'm ready to rule on it unless there's additional argument.
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I have additional argument for it.
Go ahead.
Okay, Your Honor, to prevent the further presence of any type of impropriety in this matter, in any matter surrounding this matter that I
Well,
directly.
let me stop you there, Mr. Phillips.
Okay,
You show no impropriety in this matter. You show no prejudice by having this matter here. I think also your motion for change of venue is very much premature with regard to any prejudice you may believe has been caused. But go ahead with your motion, because I mean, you have to back up. You can't just give me things without some backup as to specifically what they are and whether or not they are legally cognizable as some type of impropriety.
Your Honor, my civil rights are being violated over and over again.
Bullshit.
Due
dude,
process in
bullshit.
regards to this case. In regards to the sheriff's department, in regards to the prosecutor, Ms. Kirby, making statements that are not truth of fact. I'm a knower of fact. I have a lot of information that has not been presented on pretrials with pretrial motions.
Okay, so he's claiming this impropriety and all that crap, right? He has to go to the state attorney general and file a complaint. That is the next step. He says it's the sheriff's department. You know, the state police wouldn't. They're not the ones that really investigate that kind of stuff. I mean, they can, but because he's saying it's so widespread, definitely the state attorney general's office is who you go to, because that actually can trigger investigations either by the attorney general or by the Michigan State Police or Internal Affairs for a department. You hold on. Okay, so the yeah, I don't remember what he was charged with. I want to say it was something stupid. I'm not sure. I mean, this case has been going on for a while, and I didn't know about it, so I have not found any videos that were earlier than this one. And I'm gonna have to make that, because I am definitely still working on merch. That I can make that a thing. We will make that a thing.
With Ms. Julian, with all this time that has lapsed in regards to this case, there is a presence of impropriety for a lot of reasons. There's police misconduct, acting under the color of law. I had the first attorneys and then Ms. Julian. It's the same conduct, deja vu, in regards to essentially dragging their feet to represent, to investigate. In regards to change of venue, again, the accounting corruption that I've found where there's false statements being made against me in regards to, oh, you provided a receipt to the FOIA director, et cetera, of $30-something. That's not true. And that's an attempt to character assassinate. That's an attempt to undermine and totally disrespect my civil civil rights are violated because I did not get the due process that I deserved and that all citizens should. In regards to all of such,
Okay, I apologize. I did not freaking unmute myself. As I was saying, the drug and alcohol testing is a fairly standard bond condition. Yeah, no, trust me. I know a lot of people that, or know of a lot of people that say shit like that. So yeah, no, it is how they drag your. It's in my opinion,
You know,
Mr. Phillips, let me
go ahead.
stop. Thank you. Let me just stop you. You throw these words out without any backing. It is fine for somebody to say that my due process rights are violated. If that is indeed true, and even in the motions, I have no factual basis to even begin to make the determination. You say that your civil rights are violated. There is no factual basis. First of all, I'm not even sure under what statute you're claiming your civil rights were violated because you don't lay it out.
Yeah, except for hold on, sorry. You would think, but the thing is like they really know deep down that like they're not. So they do. I think part of it is the mindset, and this is my opinion only, is they can drag it out and then get the other person to like cave in, because it becomes expensive. That, yeah.
You also don't lay out any factual basis upon which this court could make a determination that your civil rights are violated. These are nothing more, as I'm listening to you, than your conclusions about something, which is insufficient to sustain any motion for this court regarding any relief that you're requesting. I don't mind listening to somebody, but you can't just throw out these conclusions that there's been some violation or something without some factual basis to it.
Well, maybe Ms. Julian can speak to the fact that she had informed me that this case is civil in nature, that I should not have been
Oh, that's
charged.
shady.
What I found is this case involves, it's really civil in nature. The entities involved engaged in fraud in the factum, fraud in the inducement. This is breach of contract. All that is contract in regards to what transpired.
Dude, not a
The
contract.
color of law where the
hold on.
police engaged in is.
This is where he is sit. The whole contract bullshit with the police. Okay, that is something that they say all the time. But he's like literally trying to throw out every phrase he thinks is going to make him sound smart. And it doesn't, in my opinion.
Is due process violations. They did not investigate this matter in totality. The report will say it in further perspective. Evidence will come in and show such. It's very clear. I should not have to act as my own attorney because Julian was assigned or is assigned, as well as the other individuals, Delphia Simpson or Ronald Brown through Delphia Simpson.
Just referred. Oh my gosh. So that's like, sounds sick. I'd be so confused though. But the Delphia Simpson is actually a prosecuting attorney. I think she is in Washtenaw County. I haven't looked at a docket in a minute. I'm pretty sure she's Washtenaw County. And they're not related. I do know that. They're not related. But yeah, this dude is throwing some shade. He is it doesn't help you, dude. It does not help you.
Were my attorneys, and we've all had these conversations off the record, but then when it gets on the record, nothing's being said, nothing's being done. It's a redundancy in regards to any and all information that needs to be presented in this matter through the pretrial process. And because it's not happening, yes, it is a presentation of impropriety on all levels in regards to all what's going on. You know,
Mr.
it is
Phillips,
what it is.
Mr. Phillips. That whole statement that you made to me is simply full of non sequiturs that make no sense. I mean, you did not use, you used the word color of law, but it was not used in any proper
I put the
context that this
definition
court
up
can
because I
even
wasn't quite sure what
grasp.
it meant.
I don't mind listening to you. I don't mind hearing what you have to say. But the sentences that you're giving me, I can't even begin to try to put together.
Okay, Your Honor. Okay. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I love my own.
Let me stop this. Okay, sorry, Your Honor. Your Honor, I'm telling the truth. I'm trying to tell you, I'm not a lawyer. I can do the research. I'll do it. That's fine. I know what it is. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not just pulling out words. I'm not, this is very serious.
Mr. Phillips, I'm not saying that for you and for everybody else, that this is not serious. I am not saying even that what you're
I don't know, but I think you might be on
attempting to
something.
try to tell me might have some merit. I don't know that. Because what you're saying to, and I realize you're not a lawyer, I realize that you're grasping onto phrases.
No, he didn't say I have to take this. He was like, I'm sorry for let me get this. Like he hung up, he turned the phone down or whatever, sent it to voicemail. I don't think he meant like he was gonna take the phone call, but still, it's not a good look if you didn't mute or turn your phone off for a court hearing. Judge Simpson literally has taken phones from attorneys because they pulled their phone out. Or as one attorney that I know, she had her client needed to use the phone, so she handed her phone to the client, and then when the client handed it back to her, Judge Simpson took it from her. Like literally took her phone from her, and she had to ask for it back at the end of the hearing. So, yeah, Judge Simpson doesn't play around with phones very much.
Phrases without context to them. And I can't even, anybody that's practiced before me knows if people appear before me, they don't have to say it exactly right. I can get what somebody is saying, but as I'm listening to you, I can't even get there. You're just throwing phrases out at me unconnected.
Okay.
He's like flabbergasted. I truly think he thought that his shit was gonna fly.
One can suspect certain things are going on. People can come to different conclusions about it or whatever. But with reference to the change of venue in this case, I don't see a
Absolutely
basis
true.
upon which I would change venue.
I mean, I really don't, I don't know what else to say. I wrote it.
Because you're
It's the truth.
arrogant as fuck, dude.
It's fact. There
Not fact.
probably is not enough law to back it, but it's very true what's going on. And someone where, in myself, the
Well,
defendant
sir,
is,
Mr. Phillips, you have said the first thing that has made sense to me. And that is that
You're all
there's
good.
not enough law to back it. I rule by law. I don't rule by people's feelings. I don't even rule by my feelings. And you yourself now are admitting that there is not law to back it. Finally, we can agree on something.
okay.
So for those reasons, I'm going to deny your motion for change of venue.
That's fine, Your Honor.
I don't think it's
No,
appropriate.
it's not fine. Tell me, look at his
I would
face.
like to, I would like to motion the court to represent myself pro se.
Oh, yeah, he's going there. This guy is something else.
Did you place that motion in writing before the court and the basis?
Hey, Dearman, how are you doing
For
today?
I did send an email over, but no, it's not on the motion
Mr.
like this one.
Mr. Phillips, this is where you're going to end up in trouble. Because if you're going to seek to represent yourself, things are going to have to be filed with the court in its proper form. And you're going to be held to that. So as I look at the things that you filed with the court, I don't think you know what that is. I'm not saying that you haven't gotten some information before the court, but certainly it has not been in the proper form. And what that's going to lead to, and what I want you to think about, is that it's going to lead to certain issues that apparently you have not being heard by this court. Because if it doesn't come to me in the proper form and in a manner in which those that may have opposing points of view can answer it, and then the court would be in a position to review everything, the court can't hear it.
The court doesn't hear oral motions for pro se or self-defense.
Dude, shut up.
I think given where this case has gone, I'd like to see your reasons for doing it. I'm not saying that I deny it. But I think, quite frankly, sir, you are making a rash decision. And what is my hesitancy? I mean, you have a right to represent yourself. You are making a rash decision that will get you nowhere. And I'm not just saying that out of the blue. The whole motion that we went through regarding the motion for change of venue is an example of that. What is very clear to me, if that motion for change of venue is what I would hear from you, is you need to think long and hard as to whether or not you want to have somebody put together what are these series of thoughts you have.
Well, it's a series of
Because
facts.
well, you say what you want to say. You can't just continue to put forth to the court, and I've used the word time and time again, a series of non sequiturs that make no sense. And I think you need to think real carefully about that. Because what's going to end up happening is that train is going to run off the rail real quick.
Your Honor, I totally understand, but Sixth Amendment rights, Fourth Amendment, all these constitutional rights,
I don't know
it's
if
just
you
a
want
mess.
to go down that rabbit hole.
Not only have I for 30 years been dealing with the Constitution, I teach it. So don't try to give me a lecture about what you think you know. I am attempting right now to make sure that you are not making a drastic error. And I'm doing that for your protection. That is the only reason that I'm saying any of the things that I'm saying.
I do possess some law on it, Your Honor. I don't know if you want to hear it.
Sir, I
Well-
understand the law and somebody representing themselves. I also understand that I'm not gonna go through with you everything that I understand. I don't have to rule on that motion today. There was going to be an adjournment request, Ms. Julian, since you are still in this matter.
Yes, Your Honor. Given the amount of discovery that's been coming through for Mr. Phillips, I understand that he's charged criminally with these 2 counts, and that to the extent that he has had experiences with the sheriff department or with the prosecutors or with the court system as a overall, that has become much greater to Mr. Phillips than the criminal matter for which we're here for. And so going through my emails, I realized when I did a quick search, in the last couple of months, there have been approximately or over 200 emails associated with Mr. Phillips in my emails. And a lot of it has to do with discovery coming from different corners, as well as different thought processes and different things being sent out, and then coming in, and then obviously trying to parse out what my responsibility under the criminal case is. So I'm finally to a point where I understand in my chronology and my narrative for Mr. Phillips, the pieces that I'm missing that I need to specifically get, and how to put that together for a preliminary exam. And so I'm requesting a 4-week adjournment so that I can obtain those pieces and share them with the prosecutor as necessary, as well as permit Mr. Phillips, if he wants to file any type of motion to go pro se. Obviously, while I'm on the case, I'm obligated and responsible to his case. So I was going to request 4 weeks.
Is there a response from the people?
No, Your Honor.
I don't know why I left all of this silence in. I'm pretty sure this was after I started editing out the silence. This is kind of funny.
So I'm gonna do. Going to adjourn the probable cause. I'll adjourn it to October 6, 2022 at 9 a.m. It sounds like there's discovery or at least information that either needs to be either go for the defense to the prosecutors or from the prosecutor to the defense. So it'll be October 6, 2022, 9 a.m. Or as your Zoom invite indicates. If the defendant wishes to proceed in pro se, I would need something in writing indicating that that's what the defendant wishes to do by way of a motion. I don't need, if that is filed, I don't need a response from the state regarding that unless the state feels that there needs to be a response, or if Ms. Julian feels there needs to be a response, the court can handle it on its own. But it needs to be, if you file that, Mr. Phillips, it needs to be in proper form to this court. You would be
Yes, Your
bound
Honor.
you would be bound by the same rules as any attorney. And you need to understand that this judge will hold you to that. Is there anything else, Ms.
Yes, Your Honor. The last time we were here at this hearing, I brought up Mr. Phillips' presence at our office that was frequent. I asked the court if he would ask Mr. Phillips to stop coming to the office, given that he didn't have a reason to be there, and if he could call and or email. While it was not a court order, the court did tell him that he could email or call. Since then, Mr. Phillips has been to our office. The time in between, it's my understanding he was respectful. but demanding. And so that he doesn't have any cases with us. I did look last time besides this case. When I searched on the record, I could not find anything. After the court hearing, I was told that he was an alleged victim in a matter that was being reviewed. So I now looked that up, and that case was denied. So there is no need for Mr. Phillips, as his excuse was before, if he could come to the victim services unit, for him to be at our office, since he is still represented by an attorney, and because there is no case where he is now the listed victim.
Mr. Phillips, what would you like to say in regard to that?
Your Honor, I object. I won't say lie again in regards to Caitlin Kirby, but I do object to what she's saying. I'm very respectful. I'm a very respectful and professional person, as stated before, and as I present. When I went to the prosecutor's office, it's only in regards to other independent matters or cases that were sent to the prosecutor's office by the respective police jurisdiction. I don't speak about this case, 22-1529 police report, or what is this, 22 F30610 FY. I don't speak about this case because I know that I have representation. I go to the prosecutor's office because, again, that's a constitutional right in regards to victims.
No, it is not.
Oh,
You do
okay.
not have a constitutional right to be there.
Okay. Sorry, Your Honor. Thanks for the correction. In regards to me going there, it's in regards to 22-274, an Ann Arbor Police Department case that is totally outside of this case, where I am a victim, where someone used my credit card. In regards to such, that matter has been pending with the prosecutor's office since January of its reporting, and then was since July 22 of 22 for prosecution review. Another case was in regards to Isaac Small. That is a contractor in regards to this, my vehicle, I'll say, not this matter, but my vehicle, where Isaac Small is a contractor that was sent out by Liberty Mutual, who then came out, broke my grill on my Mercedes truck. I contacted the police. The police, drug their feet, did their pattern of misconduct, and then sent the matter later to the prosecutor's office. So I was informed that I could follow up with, as the victim unit, to follow up in regards to such. I was also told,
you can do in writing.
okay, so that's totally acceptable. That's fine. I don't have an issue with that. But again, Your Honor, I refute respectfully Caitlin Kirby's statement, because prior she said that I was cursing. Obviously, it's not true. I also would like an evidentiary hearing on what she stated, because I don't present aggressive.
You're not entitled to an evidentiary hearing.
Okay, I don't present aggressive. I don't present demanding. And again, I'm very respectful. Yesterday.
Quite frankly, I don't care. Whatever happens, happens there. It is not necessarily relevant to me, except that for whatever reason, when you're there, it causes angst, either on your side or their side. I'm not here even to decide that, because it is not relevant to the case that is in front of me. So what I am going to do as a condition of bond in this case is you're not to go to the offices of the prosecutor's office without an express invitation from that office or a department within that office to appear there. That way, if you are a victim to a crime, that unit can arrange for you to be there if they need to talk to you. All other communication with the prosecutor's office, the other issues that you bring up, can be done in writing, and they can respond or not respond, which is their right. But I'm not going to go through this case with this kind of going into the background. I've got 2 charges before me. That's what I'm going to deal with. So I'm making that a condition of your bond. You're not to go there. You can communicate. I'm not saying that you have no contact, so you can communicate in writing, but you're not to be there.
Okay, that's understood. That's understood, Your Honor. There was a additional matter before the circuit court, 22-1557, which was a PH case for a hearing against Keith Flores, the commander of the Washtenaw County Police Department, where that person is contacting me via email and I feel harassed. I've already read the statute law 750.411A, and that person continues to contact me.
Do with this matter.
Well, you've conflated issues, Prosecutor Caitlin Kirby. So that's why I want to bring this up, because
But this is
That
there's a lot going on.
Your Honor.
Is there a case that is pending in circuit court?
So
Better-
not,
it's my-
not with our office, Your Honor, and also the case he's referring to that he came to our office about, that's an unrelated matter. That was on a PPO, and he was told by the legal assistants that we do not take the copies of those PPOs, and that would be a different matter handled by the circuit court, and it was not relevant to the cases that we had with him. And if we needed a copy, we could get it from the circuit court.
All right, very good.
Your Honor, that's an objection. The individual there took,
It doesn't
she took the
matter.
paperwork.
Mr. Phillips,
I
None of
object
this
to your
matters.
objection.
I've issued my ruling. You're not to go there. If you need or feel a need to communicate with that office, you can do so in writing. If you believe that for whatever reason, your presence is required at that office, you can then seek relief of this court from that order for a specific purpose and lay it out to me. But at this point, that's how we're going to have to work. I'm not having this go on in the background. Ultimately, I'm going to get to what the issues are, hear the issues, and deal with it. But otherwise, that's where we are, and that's my order. I don't need to hear anything from either side. What else, Ms. Kirby?
Just so the record is clear, because Mr. Phillips keeps calling me a liar on the record. We did take that paperwork.
Can I just say this? Ms. Kirby, you've been before me. Mr. Phillips has been before me a number of times. People can have their views of what has transpired. I do not believe, Ms. Kirby, in anything ever that you have presented to this court that you are a liar, which is why I cautioned Mr. Phillips about that before.
She's
I
arrogant.
don't believe that necessarily
But
everything he's saying
not a
he's lying about, or he may have his view of it. So I understand your maybe desire to correct what he's saying.
Overruled.
For
Whatever.
this court and for the record, I really don't need it, to be honest with you. But if you feel the need to go ahead, you may. But I don't need it.
I don't.
Your Honor, I have everything on audio, video, camera whenever I go to the prosecutor's office. So clearly I can
Officer
totally refute
monitor.
and object what she's stating, and I can prove as a knower of fact
Why
that
do
I
I
never
care,
did that.
Mr. Phillips? Why do I care? Why do I care?
I'm sorry, Your
That's
Honor.
why you're not going there anymore. Because you're turning things into bigger things that don't need to be. I just told both of you, I don't care, and you don't seem to get the message. Ms. Kirby got the message because she didn't say anything else. You just started talking. This is going to be a long grind if you keep handling it that way before me. I'm just letting you know.
I will follow the
Anything
orders of
else
the court.
for anybody else? You understand my orders, Mr. Phillips. Anything else from anyone else?
Oh, Your Honor.
Not from
Thank you.
your,
I
Yes,
will see
Your
you
Honor.
October 6th. What, Mr. Phillips?
Oh, I thought that, did you adjourn from 8/4 to today in regards to Miss Julian withdrawing as counsel from this case?
no, I'm sorry, Your Honor. That motion was denied.
Thank
It
you.
was
That
denied.
motion was denied.
It was denied without prejudice, and I've not sought to refile anything in your matter, Mr. Phillips.
Oh,
Thank you.
interesting. Thank you.
Not exactly, but that's what I like to
See you in
say.
October. 13A. Stands adjourned.
Okay, so yes, it started off with the little 5-minute follow-up that was sorry, I don't think you guys heard that. If you did, I apologize. Um, yeah, so that was a request. I think Handmaid Darcy, you requested that we watch that one, so we did. Yeah, that is a good one. I actually do like it. That is one of the videos that is from my page. So, anyways, I have got to get going. We didn't get to any of the Detroit bond court hearings. I can do that another time. I actually have to get ready. I have an interview scheduled to do for another victim. Sorry, another survivor. I'm going to be talking to them shortly. So, not a long live, but we're good. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe. I will put in the description the link to join my membership. You can officially be in my circle of friends. Still working on merch, trying to get that all done away, or done right. I'm having trouble because I am not a computer person. So, yeah. So that's that. I will probably try and do a live Monday. Yeah, Monday. I'm going to try and do it and I'll get that set up. So, anyways, I'm out of here. I hope you guys have a wonderful Friday night. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, which is a lot of stuff that you can do. Anyways, everyone have a great night, and I will talk to you guys later. I really need to do an outro, don't I?